The list of American involvement in overseas wars is so long. It started in the 1800s. There have been many, many military operations throughout the last 2 centuries. It's just escalated and escalated, and perhaps the war aims have changed, but the barbarity has increased, the sophistication of the weapons, and the constant killing of people. These days, it is indigenous people.
Hey! Hello, how are you?
Hello, General Cullen.
Nice to see you.
Welcome. I'm Robin from the IRC.
Hi, Robin.
This
Hello.
is Alcatal.
How are you? What does that say? Hello? Huh? Does that say welcome?
So it's welcome to
Yeah.
Phoenix,
New
Arizona.
York. Hey, cool. The International Rescue Committee formed some 70 years ago to reach out and help people who have been displaced by war, by pestilence, by oppression, and to help them get settled in another part of the world.
Refugees resettle in the United States more than in any other country. They come from everywhere: Iraq, Somalia, Iran, and Burma. The State Department assigns refugees to places in America where they will have relatives, job opportunities, and a community.
Athir Muslim Al-Tamimi and his family have been in the United States for more than a year. He fled Iraq as violence and death threats increased and friends were killed.
What have all the Western orchestrated wars had in common? They all create refugees, and they are always aimed at homogeneous indigenous people. Are our wars for assimilation? Were the wars of Korea and Vietnam, indeed Afghanistan, Libya, and Iraq too, to ensure that these people from these races also live in our multicultural big cities in the West? That is certainly what has happened. It was extremely difficult to get citizenship in Libya, and also true for Syria. Only those with a blood connection could get citizenship. Even if you lived there for 30 years, it was not possible otherwise. North Korea is one of the least assimilated countries in the world. We are continually targeting the tribal areas of Pakistan. Why are our enemies the least multicultural? We have declared war on Aborigines everywhere. North America and Australia are the living proof of this. Now, why would some secretive elite want to make wars just to achieve multiculturalism? Well, people without attachments to their heritage are easier to manage, that is, to manipulate. The West at this time is a pyramid of corruption, and refugees are useful in economically colonizing their original homelands, through corruption generally. The leaders of Afghanistan and Libya are now people who spent decades in the U.S., and the so-called Free Syrian Army is also led by expats, groomed, protected, and nurtured by the West. Possibly there is a religious fervor to mix the races, the much attributed genetic diversity as a goal. The West seems obsessed with genetically modifying food. Why not humans too? No matter who is voted into power, 2 constants remain: mass immigration and more wars against indigenous people. This video in no way wishes to appear racist. We are reaching a point where human rights are starting to look like enforced selfishness, and it is this hedonism and selfishness that is allowing a shadowy elite to take most of the world for a ride. Rather, this video is asking if it is our wars that are in fact racist. The countries that have been conquered provide migrants. The other countries require bombing. A lot of the refugees arrive here as immigrants, not as refugees. Are groups of people sitting around tables in Paris, London, and New York and deciding how many migrants are required from each country. There is no doubt that people have always migrated and married those of other races. But what if this is now a hidden policy? And if that is now the purpose of NATO? What if we are bombing insular communities solely for the purpose of making these people assimilate? We are told the wars are for the resources. Then why are we getting poorer in the West? Then why did we damage oil wells in Libya in a manner that will take them a long, long time to recover? Why did we give oil resources of Iraq to Russia and China? To be killing people for the resources is actually pretty disgusting, and a sad indictment on ourselves to accept this spin. In fact, we are killing and maiming people to ensure their communities are broken up. Afghanistan is therefore a success. Half of the population are now refugees. Iraq has a quarter of its population as refugees. What if our wars are in truth religious? If we have a small religious elite orchestrating some divine goal of assimilation? In the absence of recognizing the goals of the imperialists, it becomes very difficult to beat them.